Hi, I'm Cassandra Nieves. I'm your embedded librarian for PSYC235. Today, we're going to talk about how to find acceptable resources for your assignments in this class. For my example, we're going to be focusing on the Week 3 discussion board post. Week 3 focuses on the scientist practitioner model in clinical psychology. Quoting directly from your resource here, this means that their clinical treatment practices are an extension of research on the respective disorder and that they also actively contribute to research projects in clinical psychology. From this description, a few things stuck out to me. The phrases clinical treatment, disorders, clinical psychology, and research. Keeping all of that in mind, I want to build my search around these ideas. So what I want to first focus on is choosing that clinical disorder. This is going to help me narrow my results and keep my ideas and searches focused throughout this process. Let's take a look at some more assignment details. Some additional requirements are that the article needs to be peer-reviewed, no older than 10 years old, and it needs to be an original research article. It also must focus on children or adolescents, not adults. If you're uncertain what an original research article is, there's some great resources for you in this folder here, What Counts as a Research Study. It's going to show you what to look for and what should be avoided. I highly recommend reviewing this page before you move forward with finding an appropriate article. I'm going to start here on the library homepage. If you've never accessed this page before, you can come here to Student Experience and Support and go to Library Services. The databases we're going to focus on today are AP Psych articles. Additional recommended databases are ProQuest Central, JSTOR, and PubMed Central. To locate the databases, we're going to scroll down to these three boxes, and under Research, we're going to click Learn More. This page has additional information that could be helpful to you moving forward, including citing sources and searching for books in Spartacat. Right now, we're going to focus on the database's A to Z list. This is going to list every single database that is available through the library subscriptions. We want to focus on ones for psychology. So instead of browsing this entire list of 97 databases and figuring out which one is best, we can come to this subject drop-down menu and select psychology. Once we click psychology, we'll click search and our results will be updated. So now we have the 22 best databases to help us find our original research article. Again, I'm going to focus today on psych articles, and it's listed as our best bets under the psychology heading. APA Psych articles has us put our search terms in the different boxes. So I'm going to start with my clinical disorder. You can pick anything you like. I'm going to focus on phobias. Fear was a good word too, so I'm going to do phobia or fear, and we can put that in that same box. Next, I want to focus on children or adolescents. I'm going to start typing in child, and here we have suggested keywords, so I can select those. I don't think I want teenager. That seems maybe a little older than the adolescent age range we're going for. And finally, in this third box, I'm going to try to see what's going to happen if I also type in clinical psychology. For this last term, you will see that I have quotation marks around it. This is because I want psych articles to understand that I'm looking for that phrase clinical psychology and not just the individual words clinical or psychology somewhere within the article. I'm going to do my search. Before I start looking at all of my articles listed here, I need to add a couple of filters because remember, this does need to be a peer-reviewed article from the last 10 years. So the first thing I'm going to do is click the box that says peer review. Next, I'm going to come over to all dates and change that to the past 10 years to get that most updated information. Finally, I'm going to click on full text available online. This is indicating that we're only going to see results that are part of the paid subscription for this database. And now we have 57 results. The Keywords that we have typed in that top search bar are going to be highlighted throughout the articles, especially on the results page. And then they will also be bolded in the descriptions and in the subject headings. You can scroll through and see the different articles. I recommend reading a couple titles, reading some descriptions, finding something that interests you, but also hits all of the requirements. Some of these may not be original research articles. They may be literature reviews. Let's take a look at this first one, and I can point out a few details that you can determine whether or not it is an original research article or literature review. To access the article, there's going to be a link here that says Access Options, and we're going to open up the PDF. Here we have our article. One green flag that I'm seeing is at the top, it does say it's an original article. As we scroll down, we start to see the CRAP method come into play. We see the author's names, and then we see the institutions that they are associated with. Then we have the abstract. This is going to be a summary of the article itself. It is not a replacement for reading the whole article, but it is a great starting point to give you a feel for what the article is about and whether or not it's going to be helpful for you. As a quick overview of just the abstract, I can see that they do have a methods section here, and they do talk about the individuals that they did study or that were part of the study themselves. So far, I'm kind of getting a feeling that this is an original research article, but I do want to scroll down some more to see if I can find additional headings. So here, more information about the methods, the sample that they used, how they measured their information, how they analyzed their information, and then their results. We also have lots of charts and graphs analyzing what they found, more analysis. They have a discussion section, more charts, more graphs. They also have their limitations, which is a great sign. And then they have their reference section. So if I was doing this paper, I would feel comfortable using this particular article as my original research. So if this was an article you read through, you verified after reading through it that it is original research, you can come back to the details page to get not only your citation, if you need it, so that's going to be here. We can change the style back to APA. We have our starting citation here. We can also get a link because you will need to share a link with the article in your discussion board post. You cannot use the URL at the top of the page. Instead, you need to come to the share button, click create link, and then copy the link that they provide to you. This is something called a permalink, and it brings us back to the article every single time. The URL at the top of your browser is only tied to this immediate search and time and device that you're logged into. So you will not be able to get the article later if you only use that link. I also highly recommend emailing the article to yourself. It can go to your personal email or your school email, whichever you're most comfortable with. If you don't see it in your inbox in a couple of minutes, then I recommend checking your spam folder. Remember, if you're not having luck in the first database that you try, you can edit your search by going to a different database. You can try different keywords because sometimes the first keyword that we find is not going to be the best one to use in our search. Research is all about playing around with keywords, moving in different databases, and finding the best location and the best articles. If you have any questions, you can locate my contact information in the Resources and Help from Your Embedded Librarian tab. It is under the Quick Access Discussions. It will be available shortly.